On this installation, this is a Workhorse catering truck. We're going to be putting in the ATV3. We're going to go over placement, wire termination, and ground termination. This is a little bit different of a challenge. The dash is all metal, so it's going to change the placement of the device. Let's get to it. On an ATV3, you will have 6 wires in the harness. The 3 wires will be your basic hookup. The red is your constant to battery source. Black is chassis ground or framework. And white is ignition source. It is a must that you hook up an ignition source. This performs a 10-second update when it's in motion. Now you will notice that there are 3 other wires. The white wire with the blue tracer is not used, so you can kick that out of the way. The green wire is actually an output source. You can use it as horn honk, unlock feature, or starter disable. The blue wire is classified as PTO or panic. That is used as an input. You can hook it to a switch, light bar, or anything else that you might have an idea for to hook up in your vehicle. Now the tools you're going to need is a computer safe test light. You want to make sure it's a computer safe test light that has a voltage meter. That way it doesn't interfere with anything like popping a code or an airbag in the vehicle. You want to be as safe as you can. Voltmeter, multimeter, some bits, star bits, torch bits, depending on your car. You never know what you're going to use. 7, 8, 10 millimeters. Those are the 3 sockets that you'll use. You might also use Ford radio keys, depending on the car and where you're placing it at. A hook tool, a screwdriver, a plastic pry tool. Make sure it's plastic so it doesn't mar the dash. Electrical tape, knife, crimpers, strippers, and a drill. Those should be all the tools that you'll need for the install. In this application, since the dash is all metal, we're going to go ahead and mount the unit at the base of the front. We'll drill a hole, we'll run our wire through, we'll make our terminations up underneath, and we'll secure the unit right here. And since the ignition is here in the steering column, we'll have to trace out the wires that come up and find the terminations. So now that we have found our wires coming down from the column, coming up, the red wire will be our 12-volt constant. The pink wire will be our ignition. That's what our white wire off the device will attach to, is the pink, and the red wire off of our device will attach to the red. Now let's make up the connections. So we're going to use our T-tap. We're going to go ahead and connect it to the wire. Make sure you hear it click, that way you know it's secure. Now we'll do our ignition side as well. Make sure that we get both of those secure. And we're going to tape these back up once we're done. That way they stay into the loom and all of our connections are made up correctly. So now we're going to grab the harness for the tracking device, make up the connections. So we'll start with our red 12-volt constant wire. Now we'll strip the wire back for our ignition source. Now we'll terminate these. White wire is our ignition. Goes to the pink wire of the truck. Now we'll do our constant to the red. Now we have those secure. We can tuck the loom back up and we'll tape that up. Now we're going to make the connection up of the ground to chassis of the truck. Chassis of the truck is any framework or metal structure that is in the vehicle. You cannot tap into aluminum, so we're going to have to find our metal source under the dash or any kind of bracket to make sure that we get the secure ground that the device requires. All vehicles will be different, especially in this truck with the dash being the way it is. We're just going to have to make sure we find a good ground. So now that we're going to go ahead and ground our ground wire, we're going to go back here to this bracket that's off of structure and get our zinc plated screw down here and get it secured. So on this truck, since the dash is all metal, we've come down here to the steering wheel support structure. It's a solid piece of bracket that's part of the framework, and we're using a zinc plated screw. That way it doesn't get contamination off a painted screw, and goes securely through the metal. Makes it a secure ground so we can rely on this connection to be solid. Now that we've completed the install, the unit's mounted to the dash, the wire terminations are connected, we've got everything secure, this unit is installed. If you have any questions or concerns, call the tech support 405-726-9900.